friends, welcome. Complete set review for Modern Horizons, bam, 3. Check it out, we're doing all the cards. Constructed, Limited, Modern, Historic, Timeless, Legacy, and more. I'll mention Commander once in a while too. And that's what's up, alright? So, you missed white, blue, or black. They're all in the YouTubes. Check them out. Like, comment, subscribe, support the content, please. If it's a kind of creator you like and you want to see them succeed, if you like what they're doing, if you enjoy watching it, hit the like button. All right, don't be shy. Don't only like blue or red or whatever. Like all of them. Hit play it like every time. Helps a ton. Appreciate your support. Thanks so much. All right, so we're going to start real fast and remind you all we got... I keep hitting the wrong button first. Bronze Mythic is next Tuesday. I'll be directing on Bronze Mythic next Tuesday. More importantly, 10 new brews is tomorrow and Friday. Wednesday and Friday. We're doing the arena part tomorrow, Wednesday. 3 historic and 2 timeless brews and modern on Friday. And tomorrow's my birthday also, where I turn an ungodly 40. I look good, but I am not young. I am not young. So I remind you all, we're also brought to you by Rogue Energy. Rogue partner. They're a new sponsor of mine. They're freaking great. I already finished my Rogue. All right, it's not a Rogue. My Rogue cup's dirty, but I finished my Rogue for the day. The Rogue Hydration is a fantastic line. No sugar, no caffeine, 5 calories, energy, vitamins, just good stuff in there. Electrolytes, check it out. They have the Rogue Energy line also, as well as their Chill line. Check them out. Promo code JimDavisMTG for terms of your order at RogueEnergy.com. I've been having at least one a day, honestly. I had the Chill last night before bed. It was great. Check them out, Rogue Energy, and let's do this thing, all right? Set review time. Red. Boom. Starting out with Aether Revolt. Get it? It's the name of the set. Aether Revolt's in it. It's... Okay, anyway. 4-mana for enchantment has Revolt, the set mechanic. Revolt means as long as a permanent you controlled left the battlefield, this ability turns on. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent, or a permanent an opponent controls, deals that much damage plus 2. Then whenever you get 1 or more energy, Aether Revolt deals that much damage to any target. So, kind of a weird card that reads backwards, right? So more importantly, whenever you get an energy, it deals that much damage to any target, and if you're revolted, it deals that much plus 2. Alright, so very, very fun build around for energy. Any card you play that gives you energy allows you to kill things, or whatever. That being said, this is a 4-mana enchantment that doesn't do anything the turn it comes into play. Pretty much damning it for modern play or any format like that. You know, even historic or timeless or whatever, probably not good enough there. That being said, this is a bonkers limited card. Play this card, untap, and just play an energy card every turn and kill a thing every turn. It's pretty insane. Crazy limited card. And if it's limited set, the Jeskai colors all care about energy. So if you're red-white or blue-red, this card seems phenomenal as long as you're building around it. Fun limited build around, great rare for limited. Otherwise, not that exciting. However, if you're looking for a good energy card for Constructed, let me introduce you to Amped Raptor, our best in show for red. I don't even think it's close. It's an uncommon too, just gas. 2 mana for a 2/1 first strike, Dinosaur. Good body, right? 2/1 first strike for 2 is perfectly reasonable. Does die to Bowmaster, unfortunately, but still a very good card. When it ETBs, you get 2 energy. Then, if you cast the Raptor from your hand, you exile cards from top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast this card by paying an amount of energy equal to its mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. Alright, so very important. This is basically just a 2-mana Bloodbraid Elf. However, 2 caveats. 1, you either must build your deck in a manner where all of your cards cost 2 or less, not hard to do. Or 2, you must have other ways to make energy. Okay? I think the first one being the easier one, right? So imagine a deck is all 1s and 2s, kind of Lurrus style. Whenever you cast this card, you will cascade into a free card every time, Bloodbraid Elf style. 2 mana for a Bloodbraid Elf is insane. That's absolutely busted. And this card is awesome for that. You could also, like, stack up, too, where the first Raptor hits a Thoughtseize, so you have 1 energy left over. The next one can be 3 or whatever, but this card's awesome. This card is really, really powerful. This card fits right into, like, you know, any deck playing Mishra's Bauble and, you know, Dragon Rage Channeler, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, whatever else it might be. This card's just awesome. It looks simple, but simple and effective is a lot of what makes good Magic cards, especially in power formats like Modern, Historic, Timeless, and so on and so forth. I think this card's awesome. I think this card, it looks like a silly energy card until you realize that it's not about the energy, it's about the card itself. So, yeah, Card's great. I don't know what to say. Great limited card also. Obviously, energy is a huge deal in limited. In limited, it's harder to get the card for free, but you'll also have other ways to make energy. So that's really, really good as well. You can't Bloodbraid into Bloodbraid here because it does say specifically cast from your hand. But this card's great. Big fan of Amped Raptor. Best in show. Get out of the way early here. And Amped Raptor is a pretty big deal. Next up is Ashling Flame Dancer. Ashling returns. 4 mana for a 4/4. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. So, when your turn ends, you'll lose it. But over the course of your turn, you can get it up. As Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, discard a card, then draw a card. If it's the second time this ability has resolved this turn, this deals 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If it's the third time, add red.
Hey, dude.
What a weird card, right? So it's sort of like a mixture between Ashling and Omnath. You just have this like weird, condition of like first time, second time, third time. It's a 4/4 for 4. A lot of mana up front. Yeah, I don't know. What are you doing with this red mana kind of thing? I don't know. Omnath draws a card when you play it, which is kind of a big deal. I don't know. I guess card seems kind of bad to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but every cast or copy an instant short spell, discard a card, then draw a card. Second time. Yeah, I guess you get to do the draw discard every time, but like that's not that exciting, honestly. And then red is like whatever. So I don't know. This card seems kind of bad. Whatever. I'm not sure. Doesn't seem very good. For limited, this card just fine, obviously, because like just a 4/4 for 4 with some upside. But yeah, I don't know. It seems whatever. It doesn't seem great to me. Cursed Mirror is our first card off of the new to modern bonus sheet here. These are reprints that are of cards that are legal in non-modern formats, now legal in modern. This is a big commander card. The mana for an artifact, add a red. When it enters the battlefield, you have to become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn. If it gains haste, so you can copy a creature, attack with it, have mana rock. Obviously, it's a cool commander reprint. Nothing really crazy here. Doubtful it'll see play in any format. Not very good in limited, but hey, cost expensive card, not cost less. Cool. Detectives Phoenix. If I had an award for weirdest card in the set, this would be it. 3 mana for a 2/2. Enchantment creature Phoenix. It has Bestow. So Bestow means to play it as an enchantment on a creature. 1 red, collect evidence 6. That's a lot. Has flying as haste. It gives a creature that is enchanted with it +2/+2, flying and haste. And you may cast it from your graveyard using the Bestow ability. Okay? So, collect evidence 6 is a lot. That's a pretty high amount of evidence to collect to bestow this thing. So pretty hard to bestow early. And then if you're playing it for face value, it's a 2/2 flyer for it's just Sky Knight Legionnaire, which is not very good either. I think this card's kind of iffy. 1 mana to play out the graveyard is great, but again, collecting evidence 6 is pretty tough. And like I don't know what deck would want this card. It's got, there's certainly power here, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. I don't think this card's particularly great. Even if you're Dragon Rage channeling pretty hard and stuff, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the question, So I don't think so. Is the answer. Great limited card, obviously. The ability to recur over and over again is pretty sweet, but it is 1 Oliphant. But if you're playing Oliphant, I can't imagine you're that happy about it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not really seeing it. I think this card's kind of a dud. Great limited card, obviously. Chat seems to think I'm wrong, so hey, maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out, right? We'll find out. But great limited card for sure. Definitely an oddball one for sure. Eldrazi Linebreakers next. 3 mana for a 3/3. Note that it has a colorless symbol in the cost. And for all you Zoomers don't know what that is, that must be played with colorless mana. It cannot be played with generic mana. So you cannot tap Mountain, and cast this card. That will not work. Sort of the secret 6th color in a way. Yeah, that's how it works. So, the mana for a 3/3 to Void has Trample. Beginning combat your turn, target you control gains haste and +X+O. Then a turn where X is the number of Eldrazi you control. Note that it does not say another. This can target itself and attack for 4, which is pretty good. So if it's like an Eldrazi beatdown deck, this card seems to play well in that. That being said, if there has to be one. If you play Eldrazi Temple with this card, you can play it on turn 2, which is kind of cool. So, I don't know. Kind of cute. You know, Eldrazi decks typically don't operate in this sort of like beatdown cheap space, but they have before a long time ago. Could maybe be a thing. Fanged Flames, great draft card too, obviously. It's insane in draft, if you can guess it. Fanged Flames is next, 2 mana for a sorcery with Devoid. Deals 4 damage to our creature or planeswalker. That creature or planeswalker will die of its turn, exile it instead. It's just Lava Coil or whatever. Like, this card's fine. You know, obviously great draft card, good removal spell. Maybe some weird corner case, you know, for this card in Modern if, like, you're mono ready to kill a core Firewalker or whatever. But otherwise, it's just a good draft card. Flare of Duplication. We have our red Flare. Of course, the Flares are the pitch spells for this set, where the pitch condition is to sacrifice a non-token creature of that color. So, sacrifice a red creature, needs a copy, an instant or sorcery spell, may choose new targets for the copy. I'm calling Sleeper card with some folks. I think this card is pretty powerful. I feel like it doesn't like look particularly exciting when you compare it to like counter target spell, cast Cultivate. But it's a pretty powerful effect. Think of just like, I'm playing Burn. Sack my Goblin Guide, copy my Boros Charm, take 8. You know? Pretty powerful effect. If you're playing Storm, you can sacrifice your, you know, whatever Goblin Electromancer and copy a spell. It's kind of cool. Also, this card is a lot different than a card like Flare of Denial, was it? The blue one that counters a spell. In that, like, the ceiling is much higher than just, like, deal for your thing on a 1-for-1 basis here. This can do some pretty serious stuff. That being said, don't discount the difficulty of having a red card in play. You're playing, like, a Goblin deck. You can copy Goblin Grenade. It's kind of crazy, too. So, a lot of possible upside here. It's a powerful card for sure, despite being somewhat limiting in what decks can play it and what decks will want to play it. But, pretty cool card. It's my sleeper for red. Flare of Duplication. Oh, no. Just like Decree of Justice, pour one out for our boy here, all right? So, all you Zoomers might look at this card and go, oh, whatever, Fledgling Dragon, right? This is a 4-mana 2/2 flyer. With Threshold, it becomes a 5/5 flying with Fire Breathing. Whatever. This is just like some cool limited card, I guess, right? Back in the day, folks. Back in my day, I'm almost 40, I can say this now. Back in my day, Fledgling Dragon was it, all right? This card came out of the sideboard in red mirrors. This card was a house. And now we see it reduced to, you know, uncommon. Would never sniff this card in constructed limited fodder. It's a good limited card. Yeah, if this card was just always on, if it was just a 5/5 flying dragon with fire breathing for 4, completely unplayable in any powerful format. Which is, you know, that's power creep for you. 20 years of power creep will do it to you. So poor Fledgling Dragon. I see the card, I get excited because I'm like, oh, Fledgling Dragon, but it's just kind of like the Decree of Justice. Just a relic of a bygone era. Draft it, be happy with it, and that's it. Frogmite Enforcer next, and this is kind of a fun callback. So Frogmite and Mirror Enforcer, and then you just put them together. That's it, right? Obviously, it's not a pure Frogmite here with Prototype because it is a red. You can't play it for free. But this card has importance as the 3rd Mirror Enforcer. For some of the cards in this set that care about cards that cost 7 or more, look for blue on those. But yeah, the 3rd Mirror Enforcer in the format is legal. You can play 12 Enforcers. That's somewhat relevant, maybe. But yeah, definitely good limited card for sure. In your Rakdos decks care about artifacts. And not great, but good. But yeah. Furnace Hellkite. Speaking of good cards for your artifact draft deck. 7 mana for a 5/5, affinity for artifacts, flying, fire breathing. Gonna be a great card for your Raptor decks in draft. Hopefully this costs like, you know, 3 mana, 2 mana. Play it, clear your opponent with it. Awesome. Galvanic Discharge. Now we're talking, folks. When it comes to energy, there are 2 cards that make energy really, really exciting. Potentially inconstructed and otherwise. The blue cantrip that makes 2 energy and draws a card. And this card, Galvanic Discharge. F's in chat for Harness Lightning. Aww. Harness Lightning is literally the exact same card as this. but it costs 2 and can only target creatures. So,
Still a piece of
not good anymore, right? So you got Galvanic Discharge, 1 red, choose a creature or planeswalker, get 3 energy. You may pay any amount of energy and deal that much damage to the permanent. So, this is a very powerful card if you are playing energy things, since it can kill large things. It's also a great energy enabler, where say your opponent plays an Ignoble Hierarch. If you use this to kill it, you have 2 energy left over, and the next discharge deals 5, which is pretty crazy. So this is a really, really powerful card, especially on Arena and Historic, where there is no Lightning Bolts. This card is a huge deal. But even in formats where there is Lightning Bolts, if you're playing an energy deck, this card does it. This card goes. This is exactly what you want. This card's an absolute slam dunk first pick, best common in red by a mile, probably. Really, really powerful card. So Galvanic Discharge is awesome. Card's just great. Not much to say. Harm's Lightning was great. This card's half the mana and has more upside. Card's really, really good. Again, if energy is a deal in Modern, this card will be a big part of that. Bombin Common. Ghostfire Slice is next. They mana for an instant with Devoid. It costs 2 Lex to cast if an opponent controls a multicolored permanent and deals 4 damage to any target. Just a fine rule spell, right? I mean, again, maybe like fringe applications in Modern. If you're like dying for a cheap rule spell, that's 0 colored. And obviously a good limited card. Nothing crazy here, really. Glimpse the Impossible. That art is woo! Glimpse the Impossible. 3 mana for a sorcery. Exile top 3 cards to your library. You may play those cards this turn. Beginning of your next end step, if any of those cards remain exiled, put them in your graveyard, then make that many Eldrazi spawn tokens. For each card put in your graveyard this way, those cards have sacked at a colorless. So, kind of a weird card, right? We don't, obviously the impulsy draw effects in red, the ones that are only till the end of your turn are tough, especially when they cost a lot of mana, right? Because it's very, very hard to have things you want to play. But 3 mana, get 3 Scions isn't that bad either. So if you get a spot where you like cast this thing and you get like a land off of it and get 2 Scions, it's not bad, you know. So mostly a limited card. The problem is this feels more like a rampy card, and the red-green Eldrazi deck in limited cares more about beating down. So interesting card, you know. Feels like a secret layer, but yeah. I don't know. Probably not super great, honestly. It's interesting for sure, but I don't think it's that exciting. It's pretty hard to play these cards. Might be a better card to play on turn like, 6 or 7, but then it's like not very good anyway. So I don't know. Card's alright. Does ramp from 4 to 7 if you are just looking at the Scions, but that's a pretty scary thing to do. Infernal Captor. 4 mana for a 3/3. Devil Rogue with Exploit. Exploit means whenever you play this, you can sacrifice a creature. Whenever it exploits a creature, gain control of target artifact or creature on end of turn, untap it, gains haste. So, kind of a weird card. There's not a lot of sack synergy in this set, except for in black and white. This is obviously a red card. It is pretty funny that if you have 2 of these, you could, in theory, like, steal a thing and then sack a thing you steal. That's very expensive, though. So kind of a weird card that feels like it's playing the wrong side of the ball. Like, you want to threaten and then sacrifice, not sacrifice and threaten. So I think this card's pretty bad, honestly. I don't see this card ever doing much. But the body's pretty terrible also. Probably just like the last pick in limited. Inventor's Axe, speaking of last picks in limited. 1 mana for a equipment, flash, ETB, get 2 energy. It does auto-equip. So you get +2/+0 on the auto-equip. Then you can pay energy to equip it. Equipment that you can equip easily is pretty rough. And not really the best thing to spend your energy on. I think there are better things to do with it. So overall, this card just seems pretty bad. You know, the +2/+0 free equip 1 mana flash equipments have never been very good. It does modify things. It's also an artifact, but I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze here. I don't think you're getting enough out of this card to be excited about it. It's like mildly playable, but pretty unexciting. It also operates in 3 different spaces where the energy decks don't care about the artifact. The modified decks don't care about the artifact or the energy. And modified isn't really a thing happening and not in red anyway. So, not a fan of this card. I am a fan of Laelia, the Blade Reforged, though. 2 mana for a 2/2. This is a commander card, new to Modern. This card's this piece play in Legacy. It's a busted card in Historic and Pioneer, where it was in Historic and Timeless, where it was in one of the anthologies. Awesome card. Phenomenal cube card. I'm very excited about this card being in the set because now it's like a real Magic card. And I'm considering making my cube into a no supplemental product cube, like no commander cards, no secret layer, whatever stuff. That being said, this card's insane. Play this card, attack with it, it's 3/3, get a card for free. Grows every turn, draws a card every turn. Plays well with other exile effects too. So if you have other ways to exile cards from your library or your graveyard, it can grow that way too. Just great. Huge, huge card. It's extremely pushed on power level. Busted limited card. Will probably show up in some spots instructed, although I'm not sure where exactly in Modern we want this card, but the card's really good. On raw power level, this card's, above and beyond. Meltdown. Old school reprint. Good anti-artifact sideboard card. Red X, destroy each artifact mana value extra less. Obviously, the artifact lands in Modern are all indestructible, so I can't kill those, but I can kill car instruct tokens and other stuff as well. Just a good sideboard card. Nothing more. Meteor Mace, another new to Modern card. Some weird commander card I've never seen before. We got 6 mana for a equipment that gives +4/+0 and a trample. Equips for 4 and cascades. This card's terrible. What is this thing?
Still a piece of garbage.
This card's like completely unplayable, right? I mean, just unbelievably expensive. Yeah. Don't play this card, folks. You gotta be like in sealed, or if your deck is like absolutely desperate for a way to win the game, sure, but this card seems pretty bad. Mogg Mob. Cue the Mogg Monday theme. Red, red, red. 3 Mogg fanatics stapled together. Amusingly enough, I call this card. In this set, I'm like, they're definitely doing the Mogg fanatic version of Llanowar Tribe. I think actually I would have liked this card better flavor-wise if it only dealt 3 damage to one thing. I feel like splitting up the damage is not really in the flavor of the fanatic Avenflock card. Maybe it is. I don't know. Whatever. But this card's obviously very, very good if you are doing if you have the ability to cast it in limited. If you can't, it's tough though. And then constructed, it's cool with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That's basically it. It's not a good enough card for constructed, honestly. But yeah, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, cool card. Fun and limited. Not really much of a card as far as like playability, which is a fun card to exist. Not every card needs to be good, folks. You can just have a look at a card, smile, and call it a day. Molten Gatekeeper. 3 mana for a 2/3 artifact creature golem. Whenever another creature ETBs under your control, does 1 damage to each opponent as unearthed red. This is just another unbounded combo card where, like, if you have a way to keep looping creatures, unearth this and kill your opponent. Cool. Very boring. Very ham-fisted. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. It's an artifact. Not a particularly exciting card on the front or back side. So, Party Thrasher, the Lizard Wizard. 2 mana for a 1/4. Non-creature spells you cast from exile have Convoke. Okay. Beginning your pre-combat main phase, you may discard a card. If you do, exile top 2 cards of your library. Then choose one. You may play that card this turn. So, pretty powerful way to discard and draw cards. And then obviously you can convoke the cards you get off of it. That being said, like, I don't know what modern deck would want this card. It is a good card. It'd be a great card in limited, but decent body. Doesn't get lightning bolted, but I don't know. It's fine. It's kind of Inti-esque for sure. Plays well with Inti, I suppose, but I don't think that's like good enough for modern. But it's cool. Phyrexian Ironworks. 2 mana for an artifact. Whenever you attack, get an energy. Tap, pay 3 energy, make a 3/3. This is an excellent card for your energy draft deck, specifically in blue-red, where it's a little more controlling. Attacking and getting energy is super easy, and turning energy into a thing of value is also great. I think this card's awesome. Great limited card, great engine card for your blue-red energy deck. Blue-red looks very fun to draft. A lot of fun engine cards, a lot of cool things happening. I believe you only get 1 energy per combat, because it's an attack, not whenever you attack with a creature. But still very powerful. Pinnacle Monk. We come to our MDFC for red. 5 mana for a 2/2 with prowess. Over at ETBs, you return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Of course, the backside is a land, which comes into play tapped, or can be untapped and pay 3 life. There is definitely a freaking Korok seed in that hole in that thing right there. All right, I'm telling you, climb that thing. Definitely a Korok seed in there. But yeah, card's pretty powerful. One of the things to note about all of the large MDFCs is that there are ways to blink them. So you can get a cheap creature for free, which if I played as a land and blink it, which is kind of cool. Just one thing to make note of. The card's fine. I mean, like, play this on turn 5 if you're flooded. Turn a spell, sure, but you know, 5 mana for a 2/2 is a little rough. So I don't know. It's fine. It's MDFC. It's interesting. But yeah. Good limited card for sure. Power Balance, the opposite of Counterbalance. Red for enchantment. Everyone casts a spell. You may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, you may cast this without paying its mana cost if the 2 cards have the same mana value. So the opposite of Counterbalance, rather than counter a spell, you get a spell of your own for free. That being said, that's not very good, unfortunately. So, you know, realistically, randomly getting spells for free occasionally is rough. Counterbalance is only ever good because of Divining Top and the ability to counter things. So it's a fun card. It's cool if it exists. I wouldn't play it limited either, but it's cool. Ral and the Implicit Maze. 5 mana for a Saga. Chapter 1, deal 2 damage to each creature and planeswalker your opponent's control. Chapter 2, discard a card. If you do, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. And then Chapter 3, make a Spellgorger Weird token. This is a fine limited card. You know, play it, kill a thing, get a little value, draw a card, make a 2/2, whatever. Obviously unplayable anything but limited because it's very, very expensive. But solid limited card. Perfectly reasonable. A little weird that it doesn't really fit in any of the archetypes. Raptor cares about artifacts, not about that. Gruul cares about Eldrazi, doesn't care about that. Red-White cares about energy, nothing really there either. Same with Blue-Red, so kind of a weird card. You know, it might even be a little more of a sideboard card, honestly, because if that first chapter doesn't hit, it's like pretty bad. As long as it kills one thing, though, it's pretty good. So, Ral, Monsoon Mage.
It's a trap.
Sorry, Storm players. I think all Ral's a trap here. Storm hasn't seen play for a long time in Modern. We have 2 mana for a 1/3 that has the Goblin Electromancer / Baral ability, making all your instant source spells cost 1 less to cast. That's pretty good, you know. The problem is that whenever you cast instant sorcery card, you flip a coin. If you lose the flip, you take 1. If you win the flip, you may exile this and flip it, and then turns into a planeswalker, right? So then it turns into Ral Leyline Prodigy. You lose the ability to make your things cheaper once it flips, and you don't know when it's going to flip because it's random, right? You can then plus your Ral and keep going on that spot, but then you can't use the other abilities either. So like it's just sort of like a weird Electromancer kind of thing. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a May. I apologize. My bad. A lot of cards to read. I missed the May on there. So, okay. That's a little better than I thought it was. So I guess, you know, sure. Still, not huge on Storm anyway. The backside is a Planeswalker. It EDBs with extra loyalty for each instant sorcery you cast. So if you've cast 6 or more instant sorceries, you can ultimate immediately, which is kind of cool. And then until your next turn, instant spells cost less. Can deal some damage. All right, so unfortunately, I misread the card. The flip, the other ones aren't. They're not. This is the only conditional flip on a Flipwalker. That was why the card was quite bad. So as it stands, it's better than I thought it was. Might not deserve a trap award here, but it's too late to fix it, obviously. So shit. Yeah. All right. Still, the next Storm is very good, unfortunately. But, yeah. Will we see a return to the Storm? I don't know. And then Unlimited, this card's pretty good, right? It's just like, might flip. And if it does flip, you have a Planeswalker that can do some stuff. I don't know. Oh, this card's so weird. I'm just going to shut my mouth and move on to the next step. Reckless Pyrosurfer. 2 mana for a 2/2 with haste, so obviously a fine body. Landfall. Whenever land ETBs, it gains a Battle Cry at the end of turn. So this is kind of a cool little limited card here, right? Just like play a land, pump a squad, and then the floor is 2/2 haste, which is awesome. And then also, don't forget there are common sack lands in the set, and Battle Cry stacks. And the sack lands, like, you can just like leave 2 or 3 of them in play and just crack them. Like play this thing, play a land, crack it, attack for a bunch, and then you get Battle Cry 3 because it stacks. So this is a great aggro limited card. Pretty powerful overall. Good on turn 2, good on turn 10. Constructed, probably not, you know, but card's pretty awesome. Reiterating Bolt, 2 mana for a sorcery. Replicate, pay 3 energy. Replicate means you pay the cost. You can keep paying it and copy it over and over again. So this is a 2 mana Lightning Bolt for a creature or Planeswalker. And then for every 3 energy you play, you can do it again. So obviously a great limited card. because Volcanic Hammer's fine enough as it is, and then this pays you off for killing things. That's kind of awesome. Great limited card. Definitely a little worse as a sorcery, and being a sorcery probably kills it in constructed as well. But great limited card for your Eldrazi, for your energy deck, and very, very powerful card. Spartan Simulacrum. 1 red, 1/1 haste artifact creature goblin. Pay 4, sack it, deal 4 damage to a creature. I actually like this card. I think in an average set, this card would be very good. But I think that because you want cheap artifacts so bad in your red-black affinity deck, this card does that really well. That being said, not a high pick at all. You know, it's a finicky removal spell for 5, also a finicky creature. But for decks that want this effect, I think it's pretty reasonable. So that's cool. Cool little synergy 1-drop for limited. Siege Smash, 2 mana for an instant with Split Second. This is a weird one, folks. If you don't know what Split Second is, take a second to listen here. Split Second means that as long as a spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So basically, this is faster than instant speed. You cannot respond to this unless a trigger happens or you want to tap for mana. Those are 2 things you can do. Otherwise, you cannot respond to this. So, Corrosion Grip was a split-second disenchant for 3. That saw a lot of play back in the day. And this is a half of that. It kills an artifact. Or it's a pump spell. And that's not bad. You know, like, I want to kill your artifact. Whatever y'all want to be damned. I want to kill your Artifact Ravager. I want to kill your whatever. So, obviously a very narrow effect. There has to be a deck that needs to do that or want to do that. But if there is that, this card is reasonable. It's also a decent combat trick here, +3/+2 against trample. In limited, being split second matters here because your opponent can't blow you out in response to your combat trick, right? They can't shock your Grizzly Bear before your thing resolves. Kind of cool also. So this is a pretty unique card to play whatever it looks, I think. It's a fine limited card as a trick. It's a possible cyber card modern as a split second disenchant. Whatever, shatter. But pretty cool. Cool card. Skittering Precursor. 3 mana 4/3/3. Devoid Menace. If you sacrifice a non-token permanent, make an Eldrazi spawn token with sacrifice this creature. Another really weird card because there isn't auto sacrifice happening in any of these colors, honestly. And I mean, the body's fine. It's a 3/3 Menace for 3, which is kind of cool. Sure, might get a token or 2 here or there. Seems like a Thor limited card for your red-green deck. Skoa Embermage, the first ever common legendary creature in all of Magic. 6 mana for a 4/4. Legendary Goblin Wizard. Whenever it ETBs, deals 4 damage to any target. It has the Grandeur ability, where you can discard another card named this, sacrifice 2 mountains, and deal 4 damage to any target. So, is that not true? Am I lying? All right, chats. Well, actually, in Homelands there were common legendary creatures. You sure? Maybe they were uncommon. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. Yeah, screw you guys. All right, whatever. Anyway, 4/4 for 6 FTK. Discard extra copies. Kill things. Kind of cool. I mean, might be okay in drafts. Kind of novel as a legend or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Probably a little clunky in a powerful draft format, but whatever. Smelted Chargebug, 2 mana for 1/3 with Menace. Whenever it ETBs, you get 2 energy. Whenever it attacks, you may pay an energy, and if you do, another attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gets Menace on the turn. So, a decent little beater, but pretty easy to block. Just puts you blockers and doesn't kill it. It's too small to kill anything. So, kind of operating in a space between Rakdos artifacts and red-white energy aggro, but doesn't really do any of it very well. I think this card's pretty bad. Not a great draft card. Spawn Gang Commander. Look how they massacred my boy. 5 mana for a 2/2 Devoid. Cast a spell, make 3 Eldrazi's, and sacrifice an Eldrazi and deal 2 damage to any target. Obviously, a riff on Siege Gang. Much worse because they are O1s. But better if you're ramping. But red cares less about ramping than blue and green do. So, yeah, kind of cool, kind of cute. No unique colors here for the sacks, obviously. Good limited card. But, yeah. Sundering Eruption. We got an MDFC for red. 3 mana for a sorcery. Destroy target land. Ghost Quarter it. They search for a basic, put it by that of a tap and shuffle. And creatures that have flying can't block this turn. And the backside, of course, will land. This one's pretty reasonable. All right. So if Tron were to get really popular for some reason or whatever, just putting a few of these in your red deck and giving you just a free Stone Rain to have access to when you want it. Not Stone Rain, but, you know, Ghost Quarter effect is pretty sweet. And then it also can kill any... If your opponent doesn't have any basics, it's kind of cool too. So, card's kind of sweet. Definitely one that, if the metagame dictates, will be pretty powerful. Card sweet. Thriving Skyclaw. 4 mana for a 3/2 flyer. EDB 3 energy. Whenever it attacks, you can put a pay energy, and if you do, put a counter on it. This card's kind of eh. It's funny because, like, it's not a very good blocker. But, like, if you play this, get the energy and just block with it and trade off with a 3/3, that's, like, fine. Because you netted the energy. And then it does get bigger if you are in a spot where you need to win. But, yeah, I don't know. This card seems kind of eh, though. 3/2 flyers for 4 are pretty bad in limited. This is a very powerful limited format, so I think it's mostly a dud. Unstable Amulet, 2 mana for an artifact. When it ETBs, get 2 energy. But if you get a spell from anywhere other than your hand, Unstable Amulet deals 1 damage to each opponent. Pay energy, exile top card of your library. You may play it until you exile another card with the Amulet. So kind of cute where it's the impulse draw, but you don't get screwed if you can't cast it immediately, which is kind of fun. So kind of a cool payout for energy. Obviously, this is kind of going to fit well in the blue-red archetype of kind of like slow energy mid-range kind of stuff. Cool card, honestly. 2 energy, draw a card, and then, you know, another point damage here and there too. Card's good. Good limited card. Not much more, but sweet. Void Bouncer. 2 mana for a 3/1 with Devoid and Kicker. If you kick it, 2 counters on it, haste and trample. So 5 mana for a 5/3 trample haste, or 2 mana for a 3/1. Very, very good beatdown card. Good draft card. Great nuts and bolts common. Good stuff. Wheel of Potential. 2 mana for a sorcery. You get 3 energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy. Each player may exile their hand and draw X cards, or X number of energy you paid. If X is 7 or more, you may play cards you own, exile this way till the end of your next turn. So, important with this card is the may. You cannot force your opponent to draw 7. Therefore, it does not do the combo work alongside Narset or Sheoldred, killing a lot of the value of the card, honestly. And then, you know, you can play the cards you discard, but, like, you shouldn't discard that many cards anyway. So, I don't know. This card's pretty mopey, I think. Whenever you add conditions on the cards where, like, it's a build around, but you also need to build around the build around to build the build around. You know, where, like, I have to build around this wheel, but also have energy as well, and have that all function somehow. Not a lot of potential here, you know? So, yeah, kind of stinks. Not a great limited card either. So that's right, folks. Best in show is Amped Raptor. Sleeper card, Flare Duplication. Trap card, Raw Monsoon Mage, although I kind of missed it on that one. And then Galvanic Discharge is your Bombin Common. That's red. YouTube folks, take a second, like, comment, subscribe, support the content. Push folks, the follow button. My name is Jim. I'm a player, full-time content creator. Green's coming up. Don't go nowhere. Let's do this.